more knife videos. So I'll show you some of the fixed blades that I have. We are nearing the end of my collection. I do have some more. I could show you, but we are nearing the end at this point. But I'll show you some of the fixed blade knives I have that I actually like. I figured I'd do that. The collection is kind of big of fixed blades that I have total, so showing you all the ones would be a little long. But first, my uncle got me this one, this Gerber. I'm not sure what the model is. And really, I've realized, years after I got this is one of my first fixed blades I ever got. And years after, I realized that this thing is actually really good. It is ergonomic. This jimping on the back, I think they call it. This jimping on the back is very aggressive. Can you hear that? Very aggressive jimping. It's not comfortable on your thumb if you had to do any fine work. I don't think that's very good. But otherwise, the way this handle is shaped is really nice. The blade shape, the geometry is nice. It's got this little thing here, so you have to plunge it into something, your hand's not going to slide up right onto the knife. I actually do like this, and I didn't appreciate it as much. Now, this sheath is not terrible. I do like that you can put it on your belt fairly easily. This button really had to be worn in over the years. This was so difficult to deploy for so long that I didn't even want to carry it because this thing was so tight. So I don't know what this is called. This Gerber knife. This is about a 3.5 inch, 4 inch blade maybe. It is some sort of stainless mystery steel, I'm sure, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, honestly, and I do like it. It is full tang construction. If you look, the tang goes all the way through the handle. So overall, this is a good knife. So this knife, the Cold Steel GI Tonto, this is another thing I keep in my adventuring bag along with my Mora companion. This is heavy. It is useful for chopping. You can see that I've used it for a number of adventuring purposes over the years. The blade geometry is kind of weird. That's almost like a recurve almost a recurve there shape. It's not exactly a straight edge, is it? No, it's not. No, that is not a straight edge. And I'm not really a huge fan of the Tonto point, in all honesty. But this is a good knife. I've used it, had a great time with it. Again, the way this is shaped, it's got this guard that your hand won't slip up on it. These handle scales aren't the worst. Not the worst. It's pretty grippy. The sheath holds this really tight. It holds it really tight. So it is a little tough to deploy. I gotta show you this. This is my adventuring pack. Maybe if you want to see what's in that, smash the like button and leave a comment. But I took this carabiner, or a carabiner similar to it, I suppose, and just clipped it on this hook here. Let's see if I can. And as I would walk, it's just there like this, and I can pull it out if I need it. So I think that's kind of dope. As I'm walking, this thing does, just a regular walking rhythm will make it do this, unfortunately. But with a decent tug, that's ready for you whenever you might need it. So I did that for a while. I carried that around like that for a while. This just goes right in here now. So there was a time in my life when I thought I was gonna be a blacksmith, Man-at-Arms, the Slingshot Channel. What was that guy's name? Eli from ZNA Productions. Those guys were awesome. And I'm like, yeah, this stuff looks easy. I'm gonna do this. Never really did any of that. I got myself an angle grinder and a bench grinder, and I tried to make myself a forge, and none of that worked out. But I saw people modify that cold steel GI Tonto, so I got another one. I forgot to mention on that other one, I cut this off. Here, let me just a bit of a rabbit trail, but on this, I cut this off and flipped it upside down. So there's this little flap, because this is not good. This belt thing on this blows. This thing sucks. So I cut it off and flip it upside down, and this can slip into your pants like that. Isn't that dope? Of course, it's so tight that you can't reasonably deploy it that way, so kind of sucks. Don't usually carry it like that. It was an idea though. But with this GI Tonto, I'm like, okay, I'll take this and I'll take the handle scales off and I'll mount it to a stick and I'll use this as a spear, and then I'll change this into a clip point. Never did any of it. Of course, this GI Tonto is good. I've mentioned that this is basically the tactical grown-up version of the Mora Robust. I've seen people hammer this into a tree and stand on it and jump on it. These things are tough and indestructible pretty much. And I've, for a while, I collected all these knives and stuff thinking, well, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'll have enough to arm everyone. If you think about the actual apocalypse and what you would need, it's kind of laughable to think you'll be going into a fight with just one of these cold steel Tonto knives. But I do have, if I'm out in the field or if we're gearing up at the base and someone's like, oh my god, I lost my fixed blade, or I don't have a fixed blade. Here, buddy, I got an extra one for you right here. So I think that's cool, and I like doing that. I want to make sure everyone's prepared, So I showed you how to do that. And I'm like, okay, this sucks. I'm going to get a smaller knife to do that with. So I got this Kershaw boot knife, and I put some zip ties in these holes here. Put a carabiner on that. And this, of course, this will swing as you're walking too, but it's not as annoying. And this is ready whenever you need it. You're walking and boom, that's ready. It's faster than pulling one of my cold steel mega folders out of my pocket if like a coyote or a mountain lion jumps on me. I can just pull this out and, defend my life. If I was put in a self-defense situation, we're not going to talk about that, of course, terms of service and all. But right now, I actually hang this on my mirror in my car. In case someone, asks for change and tries to, rape me or anything, I can have that right there and say, nuh-uh, not today, buddy. You're not getting that today. This is some sort of Kershaw boot knife. I like it. I like it a lot. I keep it in my car, like I said. Probably some stainless mystery steel. You can kind of tell when you're holding it. You can just kind of tell when it's like some sort of low-quality stainless. But for stainless stuff, if it's short, there's not a whole lot, vibration or whatever, physics, that it would break easily. So yeah, I like it. It's good. Now, there's this thing, this cold steel, and, I am a cold steel fanboy, of course, but this cold steel Bushman, this Bushman knife. Don't really like it, honestly, to tell you the truth, because of how easily your hand can slip up on this. Ooh, I don't like that at all. Smells very musty. Hollow handle. But it's not bad, it's not terrible. It's good for what it is. There are better choices, and this is it doesn't really do anything for me, because again, this is like a middle ground. If I'm out in the field, I'll have my Mora companion, and a machete. So having this will do both of those jobs. This will do the job of a machete worse than a machete, and this will do the job of a mora worse than the mora will. So really, this is a middle ground that makes it's just not as good at everything. So I'd rather have my 2-blade solution than carry this, if I'm telling the truth. But it does come with a little ferro rod, so that's cool. You know, that's pretty dope. The same thing with this. This is the exact same. This is the Bowie Bushman. Just clip point, same thing as the other one. This one might even be a little worse because it's a shorter blade. If you see, I really screwed that up because I shoved a long stick. I cut a tree down and shoved it into here. And if you can see in there, I don't know how good you can see down in that hole, but boy, is that screwed up in there. Because I had to drill it out. This thing will hold that stick really well. And this is sharp. I almost cut my finger off trying to get it out. So yeah, it's good and it's sharp, but it's just a middle ground in like all the wrong ways for me. Both of these do of course come with the ferro rod and the belt clip, pant clip that I'm a fan of that I've mentioned before. So I do like that about these. These are good as far as that goes. How you have to extract these is kind of weird, because how this is held in, this doesn't just come out. You have to like push against the back to clear these little nubs. I don't know if you could see those. These nubs here, they hold the blade in, and you have to lift that out of the way to extract the knife. So it's something you have to practice a little bit, get used to a little bit. So I figured that these Bushman knives are a middle ground that don't do it for me. So I'm like, okay, I want to have my one knife solution. And I wanted to expand my collection outside of cold steel, because I'm like, okay, I've given Lynn Thompson enough of my money. It's time for, to try something else. So I started looking into these Schrade knives, this series. I don't remember what this series is called. The SCHF series. And as you can see, this one got some work in. This handle isn't too fantastic. This is the old gen. There is a new gen version of this that I don't like as much, just from looking at it. But this is heavy. Look how thick that is. If we're to just compare with the GI Tonto, this is bigger. And look how freaking thick that is, dude. That thick with 2 C's. That is 3 C's thick. So I got this for like a dual knife that I could use for batoning and carving maybe. Batoning it's really good at because it's so freaking thick. This flies right through any wood. And you can see that I've done that quite a bit. Scratches all in the coating from batoning. And something I like, this sheath is, just a crappy like Kydex sheath. But it comes with a ferro rod. And it comes with a little sharpening stone. Isn't that sick? Little sharpening stone for when I'm out in the field. And it's right on the sheath. That's sick. That's dope. But this is heavy. And I didn't really like this all that much. I'm like, okay, for my one knife solution, this is not going to do it. This is not going to do it for my one knife solution. I thought it was a little too big, honestly, for my, my one knife solution. If I'm just going to take one knife out into the field, what is it going to be? So I decided to try out this one. This is the Schrade SCHF 42D Griffin design. This is actually kind of sexy. It's kind of good looking. I actually like this knife. And I like this leather sheath that it came with. Isn't that kind of sick? The leather, honestly, on this, I don't think it's too high quality, but it looks nice. The has a nice drop point design. Still kind of thick, beefy blade. A little bit of a interesting recurve on this, I think. They sell one of these, this like Griffin design or the SCHF 42, which is a little bit longer and is an actual recurve, almost as much as like the Raja 2. But this, I thought, okay, this will be my one knife solution, and I decided the one knife solution is dumb. Why would I just use one knife when I could just carry two? So instead of this, which is not bad. Again, this is not bad. The plastic scales are bad. One day, maybe one day I'll make wooden scales for these. Wooden scales would be so much nicer for this. Honestly, these plastic scales are terrible. I hate these plastic scales. But this sheath isn't too bad. You know, I like this. I like this knife. But it doesn't carve as good as a Mora. It doesn't baton as well as this other Schrade knife. And it doesn't cut through brush as good as one of my machetes. So it's honestly not doing anything good. It's doing everything okay and nothing good. Now a few more. I have 3 more knives I want to show you. And the first is this Kukri. Now, you might look at this blade and say, TGD, what the F is wrong with you? You better take care of your knives better. This is actually how it came. It came like this. It came tarnished like this. But this thing is nice. Isn't this nice? Look at the size of this Kukri. I think that's like a 11-inch blade. Look at how thick that is. That's like 3 inches thick of just straight up steel. This thing's heavy. This thing is very heavy. Very thick. This thing is a BFK, which is of course means big frame knife. This thing is a little too heavy, to tell you the truth. This sheath is like a rawhide sheath or something. Like, look at that. Looks like my dog would chew on that. I don't have a dog, but, you know, something a dog would chew on. These things, these little knives, kinda not done too great. Not too sharp. I have tried to sharpen them. There's this one, which is like a sharpening piece of metal, which I think has a lower Rockwell than the actual Kukri. I think this sharpening steel has a lower Rockwell hardness. Which, if you know anything about metallurgy and knives, you want your sharpening steel to be harder. You want it to have a higher Rockwell than your knife that you're trying to sharpen. This doesn't go into the sheath. This is a very tight fit into the sheath. It's a very tight fit. So this is kind of something people do with big revolvers, like a 454 Casull or a 500 Magnum. They'll put it like on a frame, not frame. What is this called? Like a harness, and just have it right across their chest. I'm not like seating this properly, and I might have this belt a little too tight. But having this on your chest to extract that way. That's, you know, kind of the way to do it, even though I have this. Then you can extract it like that or something. Instead of on your belt. You know, as opposed to being on your belt, because it does have these belt loops. So maybe something like that, I don't really know. Guys, I have small hands. You know, my head is kind of big. My head is like 24 inches around, and I don't remember fitting into large gloves. But I think I have small hands. Whenever I like go to hand anything to like a woman or anything, I feel like my hands are always smaller than hers, than any given woman. And this is for a man with hands twice my size. This grip is so thick and beefy. I can't get a good grip on this. I want to be able to like hold, close my fingers onto my palm, the meaty part of my hand, and I can't do that. This is so freaking big, and I don't feel like I could swing this confidently because I feel like it's gonna fall out of my hand. So I don't. I love this. I love this knife. It's really dope, and it's sick, and it's cool, and it's awesome. But I don't carry it around because it's too big for my tiny little hands. Or maybe I have normal sized hands. I don't really know. I don't usually like hold hands with a lot of people. But another another kukri I have is this one. I think this is from Gurkha House. Gurkha House, maybe. This is kind of sick, actually. The handle fits me more. It's a little smaller, still so thick, so thick. It does have that traditional little cutout here that the other one didn't have. I think the other one is a Gurkha House Kukri too, if I'm not mistaken. But it has this little thing here. If you need to do thrust with this, your hand's not going to slide up. The way this is shaped, your hand's not going to slide out. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this. Again, it did come like with these tarnish marks, a little bit of superficial patina or rust, what have you. I've used this out in the field a little bit, and honestly, I would just carry this for the cool factor. It doesn't serve my purposes for bush work when I'm out in the field cutting down brush. I'd rather have a Latin style machete, or even a Kukri machete that's thinner. The thinner machete goes through the brush a lot easier. And then have a Mora for more fine work. For fighting, though, this would be kind of sick. Not that I'm planning on getting in any knife fights, but yeah, this thing is kind of dope. I do like it. This came with, both of these are knives. The fit on these is not great, honestly. This one's like falling out. I might just pull this right out and put some glue on it or something and try to stick it back in. The fit on this is not great. Fit on this one's a little bit better. You could sharpen them on the backs of each other. But they're both sharpened, so I don't know if one of them's supposed to be the sharpening steel or what. I like the idea, though. Maybe one day I'll get myself like a high-end kukri, but to tell you the truth, probably not. Probably not. But this sheath is nice too, and this fits this a lot better. And it's smaller. Will go on your belt just fine. Now last, I've never done this, but I really like, I'll see if I can put this picture here. This picture of Jim Bowie. And, Jim Bowie was famous for carrying the Bowie knife. And his great-great-grandson, David Bowie, is of course famous as well. But this is a Bowie knife to me. I don't want to call this a Bowie knife. This is the Devil's Edge Boar's Tusk that I accidentally ordered off of Cult of Athena one day. I'm like, okay, let's see if I try to pay with money order. How would I do that? And it says, your payment is being processed. I'm like, oh, so I better send in the money order to Cult of Athena now. I wanted to take that, that style picture, him just sitting there with his knife, looking dope. And this thing is pretty sick. It's pretty awesome. Not something I would want to use in the field, to tell you the truth. You can see I do have to polish it a little bit. Kind of grody in some places. Kind of starting to get a little surface tarnish on it. But super duper sharp. The handle is nice. I'm not sure what the handle is made of. It looks like wood grain, but it doesn't feel like wood. I'm not sure. I like the brass on this. That's pretty sick. I like the gold color. That's awesome. The fuller is nice. The sheath it comes in is okay, honestly. But I got this from Cult of Athena. I knew that my buddy has the Fortune Hunter knife from Devil's Edge, and so I knew it was decent quality stuff. I might have this as a fighting knife. I don't know. This is kind of just for the cool factor. It wouldn't really serve my purposes. This could be used to cut down brush, but I'd rather use something I paid $25 instead of something I paid $60 for. That has a black coating on it, and not something that is just 1075 carbon steel that is just tarnishing sitting in the sheath. So those are the knives that I like. I do have some that I don't like. Maybe I'll show you those one day. But the last thing to show you is the rest of my, well, I guess there is more to show you, more of my machete collection. There is more machetes. But leave a like. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite knife is. What are the fixed blades you would carry out in the field? Which ones do you like? Have a good day.